around. It's been great to hear from these guests of ours, and I just really appreciate their vulnerability to come and share in front of a camera like this. It's really difficult to do, but it's helpful, and hopefully you know that when you're feeling vulnerable, it's communicating strength to somebody else. So that's how we encourage. Encourage actually means to lend courage. So you're lending someone else courage when you share like this. So we have some questions we want to ask to the panel that kind of come through the discussions that we've had already. And so I'm going to ask questions, and then we'll cut to them and let them get a chance to answer. So first question is for the Scotts. The Scotts, talking about conflict. So people say don't talk about religion and politics, right? Those are two things you stay away from because they come with sort of charged emotions and a lot of tension. Would you say that we should avoid tense subjects with our family, or should we engage in tense subjects? And what are some clues about how to know when to do that, when not to do that?
You guys are bringing it. I think yes and no. I don't think every time is the time to talk about politics. Maybe when everybody's at the dinner table, traditionally is maybe not the time you want to bring up the really heated things. But it's good to talk about hard stuff. That's how we move forward. That's how we learn from each other. So I've heard that before, like from my family members saying, like, well, we just won't talk about it. But it's still there. It doesn't go away. And I've got people in my family that I disagree with, but I love and respect and can learn from them. So I think that there are times when maybe you don't dig deep and go at it, but it's important to not just ignore the hard stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about the intent. I mean, so many of the political conversations especially, and I'm sure depending on the issue, conversations connected to religion too are not typically about having a conversation, but about proving a point. And so if that's the case, probably steer clear, look for another pitch. But if you're really going into it as a learner, if you're really going into it as somebody who's processing, then what better place to do that than with people who love you a whole heap and who you love a whole heap. So yeah, I think it's all about finding the right time and the right intention behind it as well.
Excellent. Thanks. Good answer. This question is for Jim. Jim, is there anything that you do specifically during the holidays to remember your wife?
Yes. She died November 29th, right 3 days after Thanksgiving and before Christmas. And so the celebration service, we recorded that and had a DVD made, and then I had it cut down because it was so long. But I watch it every year just because I start getting anxious as each anniversary comes up, and I've been the last couple weeks. I haven't watched the DVD, but I'm going to on the anniversary. And sometimes some of my children come and grandchildren, sometimes they don't. It's okay. That's one of the things that I do. I also put together a couple of PowerPoint presentations of different pictures of her, and then some text to explain what different things were that were in our relationship over those 53 years. And it's just a big comfort. It's like eating comfort food. It's good to see her progressing through the ages and knowing that our relationship kept getting stronger and stronger. And we didn't have, I said it was a fairy tale. It wasn't really a fairy tale. We argued a lot. We had a lot of family conflict. She was an Irish lass and I was an Irish lad, so we had to argue. But that's how and it wasn't the best, but it's how we worked and solidified our relationship. So remembering those things and posting on Facebook. I have posted on Facebook a lot of memories, get a lot of great feedback on that. So they're just different things that I do. Sometimes it's different every time, and sometimes I do some of the same things every time. But yeah, the holidays particularly, her birthday, Thanksgiving, Christmas, all those things are really important. And a lot of times things just pop up out of nowhere and just bring the grief and the tears. And that's okay too, because I know it's healing.
Excellent. That's really cool, man. Thank you. Next question is for Russ. Russ, has there been anything that you've done for your kids, particularly during the holidays, that would help them have some sense of normalcy, or just to feel like, a family connection, or just to have some special moments at the holidays in spite of their family not being together like normal?
Well, one of the things that we've tried to do is to, develop our own special traditions now. I mean, what's in the past is in the past, but now, we've got a whole, life to live, and so we've tried to create some special memories, some special things that we do at Thanksgiving, things we do at Christmas. One of the things that we've done is with our, and one of the things that kids really appreciate is now they've got a blended family, because now they've got an extra couple brothers and extra couple sister-in-laws, and now they've got little, nieces and nephews and all that. So they love to get together and, hang out with them, and it's always a hoot. I'll share one story that was kind of funny. We were having Christmas. I think it was one Christmas ago. But we were together, and my one little grandson that's 3 years old, my son gave all the grandkids, they gave them these little Nerf guns, and they were all excited about them. They unwrapped them, they opened them up, and then but my daughter had her little dog with us, and as soon as my 3-year-old grandson opened up the present, he said, "Shoot the puppy." My daughter was mortified, we all, rolled over laughing. But it's I think more than anything, it's kind of that blended family and creating things together and just enjoying each other together is kind of made a new chapter.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay, so for summer, I mean, you mentioned that at different points that you went to see a doctor, a medical professional, or a mental health professional, a therapist. How did you know it was time to do that? I think maybe a lot of people feel like maybe what they're feeling is normal. They should be able to handle it on their own. How do you know when you need to go see some kind of professional to get some extra help?
For me, it had a lot to do with my kids. I knew that they deserved a lot more than I was giving them, and a lot more than I was capable of on my own. So I think that had probably the biggest part in my decision, was just wanting to do that, be a better person for them. So.
Great, that's a good barometer for sure. So just a couple more questions, and I'd like it's just one more question, but I'd like for each of you to answer it. So we probably have a lot of people watching who are not going through something specific themselves, but someone that they love or care about is. What's one thing you would say if you have a loved one who's going through this particular issue? How would you advise them to reach out in a way that's helpful and supportive, and does good and not harm, if you know what I mean? So we'll start with the Scotts on this one. If someone's watching who has a friend or a loved one who's involved in a pretty intense family conflict that's got them worried or anxious, how would you advise them to talk to their friend about this?
It's tough. I think based on what we've heard from people up here on the panel, find somebody named Steve. Befriend that person.
Yeah.
I think that's incredibly helpful.
My,
No, I-
my Steve just passed away a couple of weeks ago, so.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, I'm not sure. What comes to your mind with that?
I think that the one thing that we've done when talking to people that we are in, that we know conflict may arise, or we just say like we love you, you know, like we respect you. And I think it's really hard for things to go really poorly with someone when they know how like deep the love is and how deep the care is. So I think if you had to tell somebody how to deal with conflict, have them maybe think about the person they're talking to and how much they, like there's probably already a relationship there. So look at those positive things that were already in that relationship. And if you're looking at them with love, it's really hard for things to go badly.
And to add one other thing, one of the most practical things that we've heard recently that was good for us to hear, and even if we were, trying to be an asset to somebody who we were connected to, if we weren't directly involved in the conflict, a piece of advice that was really helpful was just to intentionally not have the last word, to intentionally let somebody else be the one with the last word, and then you're not walking away thinking, I'm the victor in this argument discussion, and you're not encouraging somebody else to be the victor, and just kind of take the low place as we talk about, and let somebody else have the last word.
That's really good. Very helpful. Thank you. Jim, same question. If someone out there has a loved one who is experiencing grief, maybe in a newer or just more intense way during the holiday season, what would you say? How can they be a good friend to someone who's going through that?
Time and attention. Spend time with them as much as you can, and let them know. Don't wait for them to reach out to you. You reach out to them. I've had to do that with some people that I've noticed that have lost loved ones, and I notice it seems like they're not getting any attention. And so I will put it on my calendar to text them or email them or even give them a call just to see how they're doing. And that's a big comfort for people when they know that somebody else is there. It's easy in grief to think the world is passing you by and you're standing still. And what's wrong with me? To have somebody come alongside you on their own is a big help.
That's helpful. Thank you. Russ, same question.
Well, I think what they shared is fantastic. I guess I would add to it is to try to really pay attention. I'm forever asking the Spirit to help me to see what it is He wants me to do in a particular situation. And so I think asking God to help you to have the insight in a particular situation, because every situation is kind of different, and then and really ask God, and then pay attention and watch them. And I think a lot of times God will simply make it clear to you what it is that He wants you to do with them, if you'll simply pay attention and ask.
That's excellent. Excellent advice. Thank you. Summer, same question for you.
I've had the most time to think about it, and I'm still kind of I think just kind of alluding back to the loneliness thing, just reassuring people that they aren't alone, that they are seen, and that they matter, that their pain is not lost on you. I know, like, I have a couple of friends that still they remember important dates that, within our story, and they will reach out and just say, hey, I'm thinking of you today. I know it's a tough, a tough day. So just being present and not waiting for them to reach out to you, but just being the initiator. And something that I also appreciated that Jim said was, in your interview, was not putting a time limit on your grief, and how some people just, they think, my gosh, it's been this long, get over it, you know? And it's just not like that. So just being gracious, compassionate to the situation, and not expecting people to do things on your timeline, but to just allow them the time and space that they need to heal.
Great. Thanks so much. Again, we just want to thank these guests who have come out to share, and thank you for tuning in, whether you're watching this live or the recorded version. I hope what you experienced tonight, first of all, is to know if you're going through something difficult this holiday season, you're not alone. There are a lot of people who have been down a similar path and made it and survived and moved on to something positive. And so hopefully you see that there's some connection, there's some community in where you are, and there's hope for the future. If there's somebody that you love that's going through one of these things, we hope that you've been able to get some resources just to help you be a good friend, a kind and loving friend, or a family member to somebody that's dealing with a difficult time, and just be sensitive to their unique needs and unique situation. So we have a lot of resources. As I said at the beginning, we really just wanted this evening to be a conversation starter, an on-ramp to ongoing discussion, because the real power of transformation is in relationships. It's in spending time together with Jesus at the center of your conversation. And that's how life change really happens. When we allow God to work through us, to help move people in the right direction, just to show the kind of love and grace that he shows to us on a daily basis. So please connect with these resources. You can go to our website. You can find the guides for each of these areas on the website. And again, there's scripture lists there, there's prayer guides, there's conversation guides, and then other resources. And so please connect with those resources. And then if there's a gap in something that we missed, we know this has been a short time to cover a lot of these big subjects. Please reach out. You can connect with us through Amber if you want to have an ongoing conversation about this with somebody on a more like a one-on-one basis. You can connect with Amber. I think her email is going to be there available for you, and she will just kind of serve as a coordinator to help connect you with the right person, so that you can have some ongoing conversation. What we want you to know is that you are loved. Initially, first of all, you're loved by God. We love because he first loved us, and he showed his love for us through Jesus. And you're also loved by your church family. Even if you're not a part of this church family, you are loved by Jesus followers wherever you are. And it is our desire to see you live with peace and joy and purpose that comes from a Jesus-centered life. And so because we love you, we encourage you to have these conversations, continue to connect with people, and continue to seek out ways to put Jesus right at the center of whatever it is that you're going through. So with that, we're going to sign off for the evening. Thanks again for tuning in. And again, this will be available as a recording. So if you know someone who missed it, they'll be able to find this on our YouTube channel and a link from our website later on. Okay, thanks. Have a great night.